reiterate that point that Madam brought up. Yeah. Before you start the vocation, revise those academics. In India, sadly, the 10th pass degree doesn't make any sense. People anyway will forget. So that is one point. Second, I think the skills also have to be revised upwards or modernized. Like now 3D printing is the in thing. We still can't be saying only candles and only soaps. And also, some of these skills are scalable. Suppose your customer likes it. How many candles can you make? If I give a bulk order, and this is a point brought from the Vidyasagar founder who told me, and I think these are some things you have to upskill and bring out the new technologies. Okay? Thank you.
You know, one recommendation from our policy would be, I think we don't have a future thinking tank. See, 5 years back, somebody should have said 3D printing and working on it. I mean, see, we do it proactively, sir. You know what I mean, Ravinderji. But
in terms of, I totally with you. Paper mache making candles, totally out. I don't believe in that, and I don't want to talk about it. And we had one of the national centers coming into us and saying, we want to do training on phenol making. I said, it's a great trade. Look at, and he kept pushing for 3 years for the IT trade to start. Didn't happen. But two things. One is on the formal education front, I totally agree. But unfortunately, what happens is that when you are trying to make something as a part of national qualification framework and also part of the national credit framework, we can't have a separate national credit framework as compared. It has to be part of the mainstream. But you have to see how best fit it can be. We were very fortunate to get a support from the chairperson of NCVT, Dr. Kalsi, who understood the disability sector. I took him to see some of the centers. The cost is that, for example, for a particular trade, you have to be class 8th pass to enter into the trade, or you are class 5th pass with 1 year or 2 years of experience. So I said, look, if somebody is already working somewhere who is differently able, the propensity of the person to come in for fresh training is zero. So already kahin karna. The biggest challenge is to get that first break to get into that job. So they said that, okay. But since it has to be fitting into the 3 matrix of formal qualification, experience and skill and knowledge, since we are lowering the formal qualification and we are doing away with the experience component also, there has to be a post-training component to match that. So I have this normalized credit framework. For every 1 year of experience required at a below par education level, 4 months of post-training OJT was implemented. So that brings it at par. And I tell you why it becomes a challenge without those education qualifications is, I do a huge amount of training for the hospitality sector. When I start placing them in the hotels, and I have a standing demand pan-India of about 200 to 250 people, every moment I have that requirement from hotels like be it Taj, be it JW Marriott, be it any of these 5-star hotels. And good salaries they are paying 18,000, 18,500 rupees. In an apprenticeship also they are paying 12,000 rupees. 8th pass minimum. Now, they can't change the corporate policy how much as they want. Does that mean that we don't do lesser than 8th pass? We do. But when we are doing for the 8th pass and lesser, then my segment is different and my trade selection is different. In the hospitality trade, let us say I do a food and beverage service or a housekeeping or a front office assistant for a 5-star setup or a 3-star and above setup. But when I look at below class 8th level, I will do a multi-skill worker who would do some component of housekeeping also, would know food and beverage service when the time is there. And that is finding huge number of opportunities in the smaller towns that we are going to. But what we do is, you talked about a lot of other soft skills, etc. We insist, one of the things that we insist, though it is not part of the curriculum, is a structured 8 hours of safety drill. And you'll be very happy to know that 2 of my candidates who are speech and hearing impaired, they got knew how to use a fire extinguisher. So we try and do a lot of other things, but there's so much that needs to be done, and there's only that much of fund available.
So